Did I just buy 2 violins in 1 week? Oh yeah. So in my last video I was telling you that I was in the process of buying my own acoustic violin. And here it is. It's the same one I was playing in my last video as well, and I decided to buy this violin. And then in the same week I decided to buy this one as well, a Yamaha SV-200 electric violin. First I'll talk a bit about the process of buying this violin, and then I'll get more into this one. So a few weeks ago, my violin teacher and I were talking about that it was about time that I was going to buy my own violin, or in other words, a good violin. So my teacher and I went to a luthier together, and there were 5 violins on display for me to try. And in the back of the shop there was a separate room where clients can try violins. And I think my teacher and I were in that room for about an hour, playing the violins and also talking about them, what we liked, what we didn't like about them. And he played all 5 violins as well, because then I could hear what it could sound like in the hands of a professional. But also because a violin just sounds a bit different under the ear than it does for a listener who is a few meters away. In the store I immediately fell for one particular violin, and I love its mellow, deep and sweet sound. So I took that violin with me on trial. But it was not this violin, because after a day or two already I realized that it just wasn't the sound I was looking for. It was too mellow, or too shallow in a way. And I realized I was looking for a bit more punch and character. So a week later I went back and I tried a few violins again, including my second choice from the week before, and I decided that I wanted to try this violin at home. And on the first or second day at home, I realized that I really enjoyed playing this violin and that I actually loved it instantly. This violin is a German violin built by Rodrich Pesold in 2017. The violin is nicknamed Green World, which means that there is no ebony wood used in this violin. For example, the fingerboard is made of composite, as are the pegs, which are actually fine tuners. And that's why the violin has no fine tuners here. The luthier told me that this violin is actually built to last a really long time. And that's kind of cool. So after buying this violin, I installed a set of the Dario ZX strings on it to try. And I think this could be a good match. But then these strings are on it for a few days now, so we'll have to see how I like them in a few weeks. Okay, I'll play a bit on this violin and then I will tell you about the Yamaha violin. Okay, I know that the acoustics here aren't the best, it's kind of echoey and all, but okay. Here's how it sounds. Now we're in the bedroom, where the acoustics are actually a lot better. So let's see how it sounds in here. What you're seeing here is a pillow. I was too lazy to get my tripod for this. let's talk a bit about this Yamaha violin and why I bought it. You might remember that I have owned an electric violin in the past. It was a Bridge Aquila electric violin, but I sold it last summer because I was just never playing on it and it was just laying in its case in a closet. But since a few weeks, I'm playing in a band. And this band started out with two guys who play guitar, and in a few weeks' time we added a singer, a bass player, a drummer and me. Last October I have played violin in church, and one of those band members had given my phone number to one of those guys, asking if they wanted a violinist in their band. And the response, yeah, that's cool. So that's how. And next Friday we are having our first gig already. We are playing in a pub. And during that gig there are several bands performing and our group gets to do a few songs as well. But as you can imagine, I didn't feel that comfortable bringing an expensive violin to a pub filled with beer, smoke and half-drunk people. And then I saw this violin being put up for sale by a private seller. It's a second-hand violin, but it had hardly ever been used by its owner, so he put it up for sale. And I was able to buy this violin for half the retail price. So I saw that and thought, you go for it and get that one. Originally this violin came with a wooden tailpiece with only one fine tuner on the E string, and the strings that came with it were looking a bit rusty, I guess. So I bought a set of Dario Zayak strings, which are usually put on these Yamaha models, and I asked the luthier to install a plastic Whitner tailpiece on it with 4 fine tuners. And that's also why I wanted to try these Zayak strings on my acoustic violin as well, so the instruments would have more of the same feel. And if I end up not liking these strings on my acoustic, I can use them as a backup set for this one. I would love to play a bit on this violin too, but I don't have an amplifier here. Unamplified, it sounds very, very soft. So I might have saved my marriage by buying this one. And if I want to practice this one at home, I can just put my headphones in here. And during performances we can plug a jack in here, which goes straight to the amp. So thank you for watching this video, and I'm very excited to perform on this violin next Friday in the pub, and I will make sure that our performance gets recorded on video so I can upload it to YouTube next week. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next week. Bye!